Hey you guys, it's Trainer Tiff with Tackle It with Tiff, and today I was going to make a video about a class review of another class that I took. And it's pretty much, I want to turn it into a video about things I look for in a good class instructor. Because once again, it's a class that I think could have been a really good class, but the instructors really make or break the class. And, bottom line, that's what you're going to be going back for, is the people that you meet in the class and the instructor who teaches it. So, let me start off with this story. So, I went to a class that I found on, like, a Living Social or a Groupon deal or whatever, and so you got unlimited classes for a month, and I like trying different things every now and then, so I went ahead and got the voucher, and you had to go online to see when class was, which makes sense. Well, they had two different websites. One was listed on the voucher itself, and then one was their actual website. They had opposing class schedules, so you didn't quite know what time the class actually took place. And they have different kinds of classes, but the voucher only covered one type. So you're trying to figure out exactly when class starts or whatever. And so I went on a Saturday, and there were a few other people who went for this same exact class on a Saturday, and they didn't know what time it started either. So we all showed up at the wrong time, and we all showed up at 11 o'clock when in reality the class didn't start until noon. Well, there was another class at 11 o'clock. So we all just kind of hung out, and the teacher for that class was like, well, since you guys are here, y'all can warm up in this class. We will take it a little bit easy today so that you've got energy left over for the class that you came for. We're all like, okay, great. So all of us went ahead and participated in that class, and it was Zumba. So did Zumba and everything, and then an hour later, the next class was supposed to begin. Well, apparently, no one actually came for Zumba. Everybody had come for the class with the voucher. And the people were walking in as class was about to start. And, the instructor walked in. We didn't know that she was the instructor. There was no, athletic attire on. I mean, she didn't have anything on her that looked like she was an instructor. But we saw her walk behind the desk. And so everyone was like, oh, that must be the teacher. Never once did anyone introduce themselves as an instructor, didn't ask who we were, anything like that. The Zumba instructor did ask, if we were there for Zumba or not, and all of us were like, well, no. So we explained that we had all gotten Living Social deals, and so we gave her our vouchers, and she decided to go ahead and give us our waivers and stuff like that. But the class we were actually there for, she didn't ask for our waivers, didn't ask for our vouchers, anything like that. We did class. I mean, I'm pretty much turning this video into a things I look for in instructors. Okay, so things you should pay attention to. 1, does the instructor introduce themselves? Do they give you their name? Okay. 2, do they welcome you to the class, or do they just kind of act like they're not really interested in being there? Okay. 3, you should always have to sign some kind of waiver, okay? Especially if it's your first time at a class. Every instructor should have you sign some type of waiver. They should always ask you for how you found out about the class or whatever. Like for us, it was Living Social. And so, they should ask you for that kind of information, things like that. And there should always be actual instruction given, not just to the class-wide kind of instruction, but personalized attention as to how to perform different types of moves, exercises, anything like that. And it should be in the safest way possible. If anything feels uncomfortable to you in any way, shape, or form, you need to bring it up to your instructor immediately. Okay? Now, I participated in this class on a Saturday, and then there was a different instructor on Monday and Wednesday. So I attended those classes as well, thinking, okay, well, it's a different instructor, maybe it'll be different. The instructor was the owner of the studio, and again, not once did she introduce herself. No way, shape, or form did we know that she was the instructor or the owner during the entire time, and not once did they ask for anyone else's name. She didn't ask me if I had a voucher. She didn't ask me if I had a waiver, nothing. And it was the first time that she had met me. who does this? You've got to have all of your stuff in order. If you are a trainer, please make sure that you have waivers and you keep some kind of attendance to know who's attending your class, things like that. Because if somebody comes, they get injured and they didn't sign a waiver and you have no record of them even being there, you're going to be in some serious trouble. Okay? Now also about making sure that you're given individualized instruction, things like that. I have bruises that are colorful and they've been there for over a week. Okay, like the next day after class, I could barely walk because of this bruise that is huge and colorful on the back of my knee in a very tender place. And as somebody who is constantly being active and it's part of my job, this is extremely important for me to be able to function in my body. And, there's no way that I should be that bruised. And the instructor didn't have those bruises. None of the other classmates had those kinds of bruises. Like, I obviously was doing something very wrong, but was never given any individual attention of any kind to be told that I may be doing something wrong or asked, hey, how does this feel? Anything like that. I just assumed that everybody else was in as much pain as I was and trying to be like, I think I'm doing it wrong. And she was like, okay, well, watch me. And she just kept saying, watch me, do it again. And you do certain things so many times the wrong way, it's just going to get worse. So, some serious tips for you guys. And just like the body pump review that I did for another class, you guys, it's all about paying attention to details like this. The instructor really does make or break the class. And the instructor that I had on Saturday even flat out told us that she didn't want to be there that day, which is a really bad setup for the class. No matter how excited an instructor is, everybody else is going to be a little less excited about it. So the instructors really need to have a lot of personality to them. And, even people that had been in the class for a while, they didn't introduce themselves. They didn't say, hey, is this your first time? Anything like that. And it's kind of strange to not be asked those kinds of questions for your first time in a class. Because if you ever come to my boot camp, everybody automatically, we see you getting out of a car with a yoga mat, and everybody automatically calls you out and it's like, hey, you're here for boot camp, come on over. And they're automatically introducing themselves and asking you questions. We're very interested in seeing who's working out with us. So you guys, especially if you're an instructor, these are some of the first things to do. Introduce yourself, get your paperwork done, make sure that you know who it is that's coming to your boot camp, things like that. Ask if they've done it before so you know if they have a background in it for safety purposes. If someone hasn't worked out in quite a while, they're probably going to need a little bit more instruction, things like that. If they've never participated in a class like what you're doing, they're going to need to know exactly how to perform every single move. So that's just kind of me getting on my soapbox for a while. I guess I'm really, really picky when it comes to instructors. I like to know that everything really is taken care of and that I just get to sit back and, get to be a student for a while. But, it's just like if you've ever been a waitress, you are the best or the worst tipper that anyone gets because you know what to look for and you know how you're going to grade another server. I guess it's just the exact same way as a fitness instructor. So take it with a grain of salt if you need to, but that's kind of my review on a different class that I took and on, what to look for in trainers when you're looking around. So stay sweat-tastic, you guys, and I'll see you on the summer side.